All right, so stay-at-home mothers. I think people get the impression that a stay-at-home mom is just at home doing nothing. And that is so far from the truth. It's not even funny. But more specifically, this video is going to answer a question or a comment that I received on one of my videos talking about moms that work and, going back to work. I think the particular video was your maternity leave is over and now what, right? So I have been in that position a few times where I went on maternity leave and I went through the process of going back to work. Now that video is a great resource if you are planning to go back to work. This video is a resource if you want to become a stay-at-home mom. Hey everybody, welcome back to the couch. I'm Melissa and this is Couch Mom Club. On my channel, you'll find tips and tricks to help moms get off the couch and into life. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about stay-at-home moms. Now there are some women who always plan to stay at home. Some families, when they're doing their family planning and they're talking about how they're going to start and raise a family, some women just know from right off the bat that they will be at home with their children. And I think that that's amazing. Good for you. Other women, especially women who I believe always, were career driven. If you for example, if you went to school for a certain career, you're not going to just, or at least the decision to just give up that career won't be as easy. And then some women, they just have that I want to work drive. I want to work outside the home drive. Even though, and this happened to me, even though you have all of those ambitions and all of those goals and you think of yourself as a career driven woman, when you have a baby, something shifts and you may not want to return back to work. I've had this conversation with myself so many times. Am I gonna go back to work? What should I do? Should I just quit? Or should I, find something else? I don't know. But this video is going to help the mom who is trying to make that decision of whether or not she will stay at home and become a stay-at-home mom. Let me tell you something. If you think that you are gonna stay at home because you think it's an easy decision, or you think that staying at home will be the easier alternative than going to work and trying to find childcare and trying to pay for daycare, both scenarios are difficult. Both have their challenges. They're just different. They're just different challenges. Of course, if you are going to work, you're going to have to find childcare solutions. You're going to have to try to find a way to divide your time to give yourself to your children wholly once you come home from a 9 to 5 or whatever the case is. And if you stay at home, you're going to have to find that energy to keep going, because staying at home, although you are at home in the comfort of your home, that can become very repetitive. And if you have 3 little ones like myself pulling at you, tugging at you, wanting your attention, it is a difficult feat, but it is doable. So I'm gonna give you a few tips on how to transition from either a working mom or somebody who desires to work outside the home to becoming a stay-at-home mom. And I want you to know that even if you are sitting here thinking, I want to become a stay-at-home mom, but how am I going to do it financially? There's always a way. Where there is a will, there's a way. Now, don't go quitting your job before you figured it all out and before you really talk to your partner and talk to your community and the village around you. Don't just up and quit. Have a plan in place, and then you can, move forward and become that stay-at-home mom that you so desire to do. However, I want you to remember that it is possible. So the first thing you want to do if you're considering becoming a stay-at-home mom is you want to make a solid budget. Now, this might come across as a little bit hypocritical because I'm speaking to myself. Stick to your budget. Okay? So make a budget and stick to your budget. A budget is so important. The thing that people find the most challenging when they're transitioning from, working or having 2 incomes to then having one is the cash flow. Sometimes you have to break old habits of spending. You have to break old habits of not keeping a strong and a very strict and rigid track of where you're spending your money, how you're spending your money, money in and money out, where it's going, how fast it's going, all of that stuff. You gotta really get down on yourself to really stick to a budget. The reason why this is important is because you are going to go from 2 incomes or, having multiple streams of income to having less. So mom or whoever is choosing to stay at home, I'm particularly talking to the moms. If you're choosing to stay at home with your children, you're going to need a budget. That is going to help you to decide whether tip number 2 is going to be useful for you. So tip number 2 is to consider downsizing. A lot of times we think that we have to live a certain way. We have to have a certain capacity for all of our stuff, all of our kids, all of our pets, everything that we have. But if you can consider downsizing, maybe going from a 5-bedroom home to a 3-bedroom home, maybe moving from a home or a house to an apartment, or, downsizing with things. Like sometimes we have too many subscriptions and we don't really need them, especially when we are at home with children. I'm telling you, you are not gonna have much time to do all of that other stuff like Netflix and those other things that we subscribe to on a regular basis. You are going to need some form of entertainment for yourself, but you might want to consider how many things you are subscribed to, number 1, and you want to consider how many things that you can either downsize or get rid of or change or alter for something that is more affordable. So once you do your budget, then you're going to consider, do I need to downsize? Another tip for the stay-at-home mom is that you can stay at home, but you can work for yourself. Now, the term mompreneur is something that has been floating in social media, and you've probably heard it before. You probably heard me say it. The mompreneur is the entrepreneur that is a mom. So you're at home with your kids, but you're finding other time, when your kids are sleeping down for nap, between the dishes and the laundry and everything that's piling up, you're gonna find that niche time to really buckle down on what you wanna do and how you wanna monetize that particular thing. There's 1,000,001 ways to make money. People are literally making money for what you and I might consider the craziest things, but they're racking in racks on racks on racks, right? So you can do it. Find a way to turn a hobby into something monetizable, like maybe starting a YouTube channel, opening an Etsy shop if you're creative. There's so many different things that you can do to go into business for yourself. Yes, I know that my first tip is to budget. That's like step 1. You want to definitely budget. But if you want to work for yourself, you can allow that budget to increase if you're bringing in some extra money. Now, this does not take away from your children, the time that you spend with your children and the way that you raise them. I believe that if you're choosing to become a mompreneur, you have something in you. You have a particular skill, a particular discipline in you that is going to cause you to mother in a more fierce way. It's just gonna click in you. If you know that you have to divide your time and give yourself a little bit more to a particular dream or a particular goal or a particular business that you want to start, I believe that for the woman that is watching this, you are going to know within yourself that you're going to have to kick it into high gear a little bit and mom at a fierce level so that your children don't feel a deficit when you are lending your attention to something else. That something else is going to benefit your children, of course, and you are going to be like beast mode mom. You're going to just mother to level extraordinaire, and then you're going to launch that business or create that, cookbook, or launch a podcast, or whatever it is that you're going to do. You're going to do it with excellence, and I'm just speaking that into you right now. So if you are choosing to work for yourself while you are a stay-at-home mom, it's going to be great. Tip number 4 is really to work from home. So the stay-at-home mom is at home, but also works from home. This is a viable option. In fact, this is the option that I've chosen. I was working in the long-term care sector. I think it was about 9 or 10 years that I was in long-term care. And then I had my son, and I decided that there's no way I'm gonna want to stay at home. I'm only gonna opt for the 12 months. I think it's gonna be boring. I think it's gonna be crazy. This is my career-driven self, my go, get it kind of, that's my mind at the time. And of course, I had him, and then shortly after having him, and when I was transitioning and getting ready to go back to work, I miscarried. And my whole world began to to shift and to change. My ideas and my thoughts on motherhood totally shifted. I remember somebody saying to me that I was in the season of my life where I was needed at home. I don't know if that is the case for every mom, if you feel that or if you've had somebody say that to you, but I really struggled with how I could go from go-getter, getting everything that I wanted, on a career path, to all of a sudden staying at home with a child. It was so beyond something that I could fathom for myself. I thought that the child was interrupting and almost even stealing my identity. But what I didn't realize is that in birthing that son, in birthing my child, I unlocked other things in me that put me to fast forward to where I am today. Of course, after my second child, I did return back to work, and this is a good option for you too. If you are choosing to continue to work, but you also want to be at home with your kids, maybe consider other jobs that have unconventional hours. Like for me, I worked a few hours in the wee early hours of the morning, and I was able to come home and still mother and still be with my children full time. I would nap when they napped sometimes, and then I would get up and when they got up and continue my day, and it worked very well. But then introduced my third child, and I knew that I couldn't continue to do that because my energy would have been completely, totally, and utterly depleted. So I made the decision again to quit that job, but not before finding a great solution, which here I am now in another position where I am working from home. Working from home is one of the blessings that came from the past 2.5 years of our that situation. And I think that even though that time was so difficult for so many of us, there were a few blessings. Businesses were launching like crazy. I mean, we went from side hustle culture to full-on thriving 6-figure businesses for some people in the span of those 2.5 years. And likewise, many companies realize that it is okay for people to work from home. They monitor your productivity and all of that jazz, but that is a great option for moms who are choosing to stay at home. Of course, some jobs are going to require a little bit more attention than others, but there are jobs out there that you can find that are completely remote, completely work from home, that you can apply to. You can get the job and you can work and also stay home with your children. For those who are single and choosing to stay at home, I don't know how you're gonna get income other than to become an entrepreneur or have something. I don't even want to get into the details. You do you, mama. But for those of us who have partners, this is where you consider maybe your partner is going to take on a little bit more if they are able to work overtime or perhaps take on a part-time job. Yes, it does limit his or her capacity for how they deal with children within the home and how they foster relationships with their children. Of course, how the marriage is fostered, things like that. Those are challenges that you are going to face. However, you have to have those mature conversations. You have to approach it in the most practical and most realistic way so that you can come out on top when it's all said and done. And of course, it doesn't have to be a permanent solution. These things can be temporary. Maybe he'll work a little bit of overtime for a few months or a few years and then switch off or whatever the case is. This also is going to be taxing on the stay-at-home mom. If the partner is outside working longer hours, that means you, mom, have longer hours mothering. And trust me, when 5 o'clock hits, you're just counting down the time when husband walks through the door so you can be like, all right, I'm done. I quit. It's all you. I get to that level many a nights where it's like, okay, I need a break and I'm out. So it is taxing on the mom to stay at home, especially if the partner has to be outside working longer hours to compensate for the decision that you've made to solely raise your children and be a stay-at-home mom. Of course, this is for the mom that is choosing to transition from being a working woman to now being a stay-at-home mom. I believe that these tips will help you Let me know in the comments down below if they have helped you. I definitely want to continue the dialogue. And thank you so much for the suggestion for the person that left that comment. This was a great idea. And of course, if you have more ideas for different videos, leave your comments. I get to them and I will do my best to put out more videos that will help you, mama, with your life and your endeavors to help you, of course, get off the couch and into life. And if you haven't checked out that video, I want you to watch it. It talks about how you're going to transition from being at home on maternity leave to going back to work. And there's some great tips in there. So yeah, I'm going to leave that video right here. You can check it out. I think it's a great resource for you. Like all my videos and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.